North Korea's monster spy airplane has been spotted in reconnaissance operations. Sounds like a blockbuster title, but here's the thing. In December 2023, satellite imagery captured something that shocked Western analysts. The Russian Candid air transport aircraft in a completely unrecognizable configuration with a dozen modifications was discovered at the Pyongyang airfield in North Korea. A careful analysis of the image revealed that the Soviet-era aircraft had a fairing on the top of the fuselage. This means only one thing. North Korea has been working on a radar-based early warning aircraft, or in other words, a spy plane. Such advanced airplanes can detect aircraft, ground targets, surface ships, and even missiles at a distance of more than 125 miles. The new spy plane will allow the North Korean army to become a very dangerous player in the global political arena. However, North Korea does not have the experience and resources to do something like this, but they could have stolen at least some of the experience from someone else. This may be the reason why a strange North Korean submarine was recently spotted off San Clemente Island in California. According to eyewitnesses, it was a Sang-O, or Shark class, a deadly torpedo diesel-electric military submarine capable of destroying ships. But how did the submarine end up off the coast of the United States? There were rumors that the United States had captured the submarine from the North Koreans as a result of a secret military operation, but this is not confirmed as a fact, and official data is deliberately hidden from the public. All these issues with North Korea are under scrutiny of analysts, while exercises are taking place in another part of the world, and it's not for nothing that we emphasize the word exercises, because it's hard to believe. The NATO JAS-39 Gripen fighter jet attempted to intercept a Russian Su-27 fighter jet this week. The JAS-39 Gripen is one of the best fourth-plus generation fighters that can perform a wide variety of missions, and its capabilities are very similar to the legendary F-16. Like the American fighter jet, the JAS-39 has a single engine and a fairly small combat range of 500 miles. However, the Gripen doesn't catch you with its range, but with its power. It can use a huge arsenal of all kinds of missiles, whether anti-aircraft or anti-tank, and it can even launch air bombs of various calibers.
This revolutionary system is why we do not talk about fighter generations at Saab anymore.
But can the Su-27 withstand it? It's hard to believe, but in 2015, China and Thailand conducted a Falcon Strike exercise where both of these fighters faced off at a training area. During the test, the Gripen pilots demonstrated 41 successful battles with the enemy, while the Russian Su-27 managed to win only 9 times. In addition, the Gripen had 88% of effective hits, while the Su-27 had only 14%. We don't think anyone doubts the superiority of the NATO fighter jet over the Sukhoi, but this is not the only incident this week. At about the same time, NATO F-35 pilots attempted to intercept Russian Tu-160 bombers, accompanied by the same Su-27s. And this is where the situation becomes more interesting. The F-35s were scrambled because Russian aircraft flew near NATO allies' airspace. 2 F-35As quickly took off from the airfield and headed to intercept a pair of Tu-160s escorted by Su-27s. The Norwegian pilots flew up to the bombers flying at cruising speed and accompanied them for some time, standing on both sides, showing their dissatisfaction with the situation. For some time, all the aircraft flew above the clouds on a parallel course. Then the Tu-160s simultaneously increased their speed and tried to get away from the Lightnings because they focused on the Su-27s, which had to turn around and abandon their partners.
We've been flying 10 turn 8s, which is a fairly high ops tempo.
However, the Tu-160 will no longer be able to boast of its 1,370 mile-per-hour speed, as one of the latest upgrades to the F-35 is related to engine improvements. Now the updated version of the fighter is capable of accelerating to 1,490 miles per hour, just like its counterpart, the F-22. Any Russian fighter jet can't handle this speed, let alone the Tu-160, which can't even attack the enemy, unlike the Lightning, which is capable of firing cruise missiles, guided bombs, air-to-air missiles, and anti-tank missiles. This is enough to destroy most of the equipment of the enemy. In addition, the aircraft has been equipped with anti-ship missiles for several customer countries, including Israel, which makes it even more versatile.
It's the best flying aircraft I've had the opportunity to fly.
Due to its great maneuverability, the fighter can evade even faster missiles, allowing it to win in a seemingly hopeless situation. This is exactly what the SU-27s were afraid of, and they just flew away, refusing to engage such a strong enemy. It's surprising that immediately after this situation, the United States publicly began to practice the process of emergency takeoff of B-2 Spirit bombers to demonstrate their full power. The bomber must be in constant combat readiness so that it can make an emergency takeoff. To do this, the engineers inspect the B-2 every day to make sure it's in combat condition. In addition, there are always pilots on duty at the airbase who take turns replacing each other. As soon as the headquarters receives information about an approaching threat, the captain signals for takeoff, and the pilots at the controls of the B-2 in a matter of minutes. The hangar is opened, the airplane accelerates and finds itself in the air on the way to the target to be destroyed. The first thing the Spirit can scare the enemy with is a nuclear bombing. There's no need to use huge missile carriers anymore because the invisible aircraft will do its work to the fullest. It'll easily bypass enemy air defense, reach the most important position, and drop a 3-ton projectile on the enemy. At the same time, the Spirit can use no less dangerous carpet bombing. To do this, it fires 40 cluster munitions which scatter in the sky into hundreds of small bombs that can devastate several acres of land in a matter of seconds. A guided aerial bomb is well suited for more precise combat missions. It finds its target anywhere using an advanced guidance system with a hidden multi-target radar with multiple detection modes. The targeting device allows to control high-precision munitions by transmitting data from the radar. No wonder the Spirit is the most effective secretive aircraft in the world.
The B-2 is a stealth aircraft. It's designed to basically kick down the door to open up that entryway.
The main task facing the engineers was to create a truly stealthy and fast aircraft that could develop a nuclear warhead anywhere in the world.
The shape of the B-2 is basically designed so that it minimizes the amount of radar that can be returned to the original source.
Nevertheless, the B-2 is not the only bomber that's forced to take off early and urgently. There's another airplane, an older and more deadly one. No matter how many new aircraft are produced, no one will be able to surpass the absolute power of the B-52. Despite the fact that this amazing airplane is already 70 years old, it continues to show its best, and no one can achieve its records even now. That's why the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress has remained the main long-range aircraft of the U.S. Air Force for the past few decades and will remain in service for at least another 20 years. There's no other aircraft that can carry 70,500 pounds of ammunition and fly over 8,700 miles on just one refueling. To give you an idea of the distance, a B-52 can take off from Washington, D.C., fly across the Atlantic Ocean, stop by Beijing, and still have fuel left. The B-52 is the only strategic bomber currently in service that has participated in a full-scale war, during which, mind you, only one bomber was shot down. Isn't this an indicator of the reliability of all its systems?
Fly-by-wire takes inputs from the pilot and other aircraft sensors, feeds them into a series of computers, which then produce an output to a hydraulic actuator, which moves the flight controls for us.
The B-52 long-range bombers undergo regular repairs and modernization to remain in combat service, which allows them to maintain the necessary technical condition for the next mission. The pilots are also trained and prepared according to a special methodology so that they are always ready for battle. For example, during the Cold War, B-52 crew quarters were often located close to a parked bomber. Thus, the crew could run out of the room and prepare the aircraft for takeoff in a few minutes. It should be noted that at a time of danger, the B-52s would have already been in the air on their way to the battlefield, while the other bombers would have just taken off from the runway. Since then, this system has not changed, and the B-52 pilots are always ready for an emergency takeoff to punish the impudent enemy. But there are also airplanes that carry not a huge number of small missiles, but a single but huge cargo. For example, C-17 Globemaster III can carry an Apache helicopter with paratroopers inside. Would you like to see real tanks parachuting out of an airplane? This is exactly what the C-17 was designed for. This military transport aircraft was designed to increase the operational mobility of the U.S. Army, especially for the transportation of military equipment. The C-17 can lift 78 tons of cargo, which is equal to the weight of 52 passenger cars. In addition to the high load capacity, the dimensions of the cargo compartment are quite large. A 88-foot long and almost 19-foot wide cargo compartment allows to carry such vehicles as Humvees, Abrams tanks, artillery howitzers, and much more.
It's amazing for such a huge airplane. It really does anything you want.
Would anyone dare to confront America with such advanced technology? We think the answer's obvious, but you can write down your own guesses in the comments. This is the end of the video. You can support the channel by liking it if you enjoyed our video. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.